Never know with him.
Who's ready to rock and roll? Ladies and gentlemen, today on the YSN, a conversation with Sam Wolfe. Let's clap it up. Sam, first, introduce yourself, explain a little about yourself and how you're a beautiful human being.
Okay. First off, I'm Sam, as you all know. Who doesn't know, really?
This guy.
What I'm doing right now, sports director at Yanni's former station, WVCW Radio. I've been doing sports media stuff, trying to get into that. That's who I am. How I'm a beautiful person. I mean, I'm one of the co-hosts of the former podcast, Two Possession Game. There's nothing better.
You're not lying.
I never lie.
Sam,
like George Washington.
Nice. Sam, tell us where you are at school. For the people that don't know, I have family in Greece and Morocco that actually watch this. Salam alaikum to all my family.
Hey.
That's Palikaria to all my Greek family. Sam, explain to them where you go.
I go to Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia. It's a beautiful town at times. But yeah, that's where I go.
And Sam, how did we meet?
Through Instagram DM. So I put something, I was follow my Twitter, and you slid up because I had sports show host in my Twitter bio, and you're like, yo, you run a show? And I was like, yeah. You're like, I've been meaning to do that. And then at that point we were just like, let's just run a show. So it was an interesting way to meet.
Yeah, man. So for the people that don't know, that's what happened actually. So Sam posted that on his story. I followed Sam from I think my first semester at VCU. We had an econ class together. I think something like that.
Was it was econ. Yeah.
Was it with the dude that smoked weed in the mountains?
Yeah, it was with Mountain Man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot we had that. I forgot you were in that class as well. Oh my God.
Shout out to, I don't even remember his name. I know his first name was Michael. So shout out to him.
It was Michael Gilbert, I want to say. It was like a silly last name.
Yeah, something like that. No, excuse me, Sam. Are you insulting all the Gilberts out there?
I kind of am. I apologize to the Gilbert community.
So yeah, so I slid up on Sam. I said, yo, I want to start a show. How did you do this? And basically throughout talking, I was like, all right, bet I'll submit for my show. And I was like, I stopped myself. I was like, why don't I just do a show with him? Because I feel like a show which Sam told me later, because he did this before, a show by myself, I feel like it would be boring and I wouldn't be able to benefit off another person's opinions and stuff like that. So I was like, Sam, why don't we just do this together? I mean, we barely know each other, but might as well give it a shot. And here we are. It's actually August 25th, our first 2PG ever. Our practice episode was sometime in August. Let me go back and check. Because remember when
I with the station or something like that this first week.
Yeah, hold on. Remember I told you that I have this thing where I record 1 second every day on video and I have it in an app?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go back and check that right now. Let's see. Oh, so wait, is that today? Oh, we just missed it. Hold on.
Oh, damn.
26th. August 26th was the first day.
Wow, our 1 year is tomorrow. Can you believe that?
Oh, we're such a cute couple.
We are just such a power couple.
Yeah, man. So we started with Sam and it was just chemistry right away. I think that he agrees the same way thing. We just, it was easy to talk to each other about sports. It was easy to, just talk to each other about life too. We would go every time we had a show, we would go to the studio hours before, prep, do our research, talk about what we're going to talk about, maybe talk about guests for in the future, and then just talk about life, talk about stuff that we were just, everyday stuff at VCU. And eventually me and Sam once again started to have classes together. So then we could do our assignments for classes together outside of class. So shout out to Semi. I know he's somewhere in Toledo, Ohio right now, living the dream.
Oh, don't give me
shout out to our teacher. Shout out to our teacher, Semi Badir. So, but yeah. So 2PG, man. Sam, what does 2PG mean to you?
2PG mean to me, it was almost like it's a start essentially. Like it was a really dope start and like the foundation for all the work I've done in like broadcasting and all that in sports media. Just because I was able to, the first show I did was essentially just kind of like our one practice show pretty much. That was what that was, but this was like more so putting myself out there, um, allowing myself to be comfortable in front of the microphone, in front of the camera. And I've definitely noticed a build up in what I'm able to do and how I've become a better broadcaster since then, in a way.
For sure. And Sam, before I say this next thing, I want to tell the people we didn't just do the show together.
No, we did
We
not.
also commentated several college basketball games together.
Some fun games. The U of R game was crazy. Like I had some friends listening from home, and they apparently they turned down the game broadcast from Masson or something like that.
Yeah.
And they turned on ours on WVCW, and they were like geeking the whole time because they said it was like something like the first 2 minutes of the game, and I think Vince hit a three, and we're both like bang. Their game like it's 2 minutes into the game.
Man, listen, I think what we did was we always, you were at first, you're the bigger VCU basketball guy in general. So that's what you do. Like that's your thing. And you brought me on and you got me addicted to the VCU basketball hype. Because then once I started commentating for the games, I started getting passionate about, the team and like started learning more about the players. And then obviously watching tape, like just watching the games and highlights and stuff. I saw, the Rhodes offense, and I saw like Vince, explosive player now in the NBA right now in the Grizzlies like system. Keyshawn was an incredible slasher. I liked Hassan's athleticism and ability to, create space in the paint. And then Ace, the pickpocketer himself, absolute steal king. So yeah, I love the team and just commentating with Sam every time. Well, not every time because we didn't unfortunately get the chance to do that every time, but commentating with Sam we just brought that chemistry from 2 possession game to the floor. So it was honestly a great deal. Before I finish this spiel, here's a clip of us commentating. And it's stolen by Curry. Curry in the fast break, puts it up. And Sam, I want to read a message from our former director at WVCW, Joe Dodson. Hey. This was September 23rd. I think I got it wrong. I think our first day was September 23rd.
Okay.
I think I was looking at the wrong thing. Anyway, so close to a year we've been doing this now. But Joe he goes, great show, guys. This is definitely going to be one of the most popular shows moving forward. Do you guys have a logo so I can promote on social? September 23rd, 2021, 8:03 p.m. Sam, so since then, we've developed a great bond, but an even greater friendship. And obviously now you're in Joe's shoes. So what are you looking forward to the most as the sports director of WVCW Radio?
Honestly, it's just kind of building back. COVID did a lot of damage on the station, and not even from just the sports team, I think took the hardest, the most amount of damage, staffing and all that. But even in music and promotion, people are dealing with all that. But right now I'm building back. I'm focusing on recruiting and just building a more competitive and more, there's more of a culture for it. We already have, I think, 2 new shows, not including mine, coming up this semester with 2 pretty talented people. I think it should be 2 great shows. But yeah, just honestly building it back and making a more competitive environment and more a culture to bring sports broadcasting and sports media up in VCU.
For sure. And you promote those shows right now. You know the names, who's running it.
Right now, I know we have From the Sidelines with the one and only Mark Gadd. That needs to get scheduled and branded. And Across the Pylon, kind of similar names with Gabe RF, I want to say.
Shout out to Gabe, man, my guy.
and he should be doing his show with a friend from UVA or something like that, a friend from another school. And so both, I know Mark more because I've read his write-ups with our one sports director show at WVCW, and he's a brilliant football guy, European football.
There we go, Sam.
Hey.
Yeah.
But he's a brilliant football guy, and the show should be great. He's also leading up our soccer team for coverage, so it should be great. Our soccer content should be sick. And as well as all our other shows, we're gonna have a more involved members and all that, and it should be pretty good. It should be a pretty good year.
Yeah. So to elaborate more on what Sam just said, we used to do weekly write-ups for, did we do it for, no, it was highlight reel, right?
We did it for the aftermath, but then we're like there was people who were like, I don't want to cover cross country.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, okay, we'll do a pro sports show, and they did write-ups for the aftermath.
So Sam's sport, yours hockey?
Yeah, mine was hockey.
Okay, so I did Premier League soccer, football. So I did Premier League, and I did every week. I would, recap about 3 to 4 top games. I would list all the top goal scorers, top assisters, and top clean sheet, keepers or whatever. And then I would list like the rest of the games, and then I would preview next week's matches. So that's what I did every week during the Premier League season, like while I was at WBCW. And so Sam, we talked about Mark's show. Nice. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was so loud.
Dude, I have to mute that now. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna keep this in, by the way.
It should stay in.
It should stay in. No edits. All right. So Sam, we talked about Gabe's show. We talked about Mark's show. How about your show? Got a name yet? What's the branding looking like? You're a big director now, Sam. So
I know I'm big director. So right now I'm setting up other people's more so, but I have ideas. I'm looking into later in the year starting a VCU basketball podcast. I think that should be a really fun one. I don't know if that'll be WVCW or if that will be posted elsewhere, but I will be doing the aftermath, which instead of strictly VCU, I think I'm going to merge that in the highlight reel. And earlier in the year, we're going to be covering predominantly pro sports before the VCU's big 3 sports come in: soccer, basketball, and baseball. And of course, we'll be covering other stuff in there as well, just because, we got to cover everything. We at least got to give the update. And so we'll be covering pro sports while, things are getting into full swing in the athletic year for the Rams. So it'll just be a mix of pro sports and VCU sports, really.
Okay. And so obviously now I'm, not at WCW anymore. I did graduate this past May.
Tragic.
Yeah, I know. You hate to see it. I would have loved to stay. I low-key, I was thinking about it when you were talking about Mark's show. I was like, dude, I could have done a soccer show like on the side. Like,
you could have.
It is what it is. We're on to different things now. But Sam, I want to talk about a possible reunion show on your show. If I come back maybe once or twice at VCU, do I have a spot on the Sam Wolfe show?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime.
All right. That's what I'd love to hear. And Sam, to be honest with you here, 2-possession game, it really set the tone for me, not just as like a radio guy or whatever. It set the tone for what I want to do in general in life. And I know my career path, I definitely want to be in front of a microphone one day, talking about some sports. That's what I definitely want to do. We had a lot of memorable moments, but give me top 3 2PG moments. We had a lot. We did a weekly episode for freaking, I don't know, we did maybe 20 something episodes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because there's so much and it like blurs together. Mm-hmm. One of them being, one of my favorite moments being the all-time NBA draft.
Okay.
Where my absolutely pristine roster got gypped against. I don't know who mine got put against, but it was significantly weaker. Significantly weaker. I think there was a bias, but
Let me actually go check. Did I put that under polls or did I put that under YSN? Let me check. But yeah, keep going. What was your another a memory of yours?
I'm trying to think. Was that the same as the March Madness, the March Madness show?
Yeah, I was gonna
That
say
was
that too.
that was so fun. Um, and trying to think of another good one. This was like really early, I think, but when we were like ranting about Ben Simmons in like our second or third
Yep.
episode, that was a really fun one.
Still remember that. Still remember that. That was fire.
Those are, I'd have to look into the shows, but those are definitely three of my favorite moments on there.
So I'll say I'll agree with you on the March Madness. That was funny. That was a great episode. We were just laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
Especially when I think was it you or me that said Longwood? And I was like,
it was. Yeah. I think I don't know who was running through that particular side of the bracket, but I think it was you, and you went Longwood, yeah, and then it was just chaos from there.
I can't find the freaking teams thing. It's pissed me off. Anyway, whatever. So I'll say another moment was, yeah, I loved the all-time NBA draft. That was one of our best ideas, honestly. That was kind of fire. So fun. And then I'll say my last, like, top 3 moment, I'll give it to the last ever episode. I think like just, sitting there and like, reminiscing stuff, like looking back, like, damn, like, and the way we did it too, it was like on a random Friday at like midnight.
Yeah. We got to get this through now because like it's the timeline's coming up.
I was supposed to go home for a week to surprise my mom for Mother's Day, and then I'd come back to graduate. So I wasn't gonna be there on when we were supposed to film on Monday. I think we did it.
Yeah, it was like it was a time of the year where the studio was just like empty. It was like nobody was there.
Yeah, because it was the end of the school year. So I said, Sam, like, what are you doing right now? And you were like, I mean, nothing. I'm just chilling. I was like, dude, let's go right now to the studio and let's do it. Let's do the last ever episode. And we brought Walter on, and Walter famously could never get on the show because he was always working. On the weekdays, he would work. I think his shifts were like 2 to like 6 or 7 or something, or 8, something like that. But he could never make it because our shows are always at either 6 or 7. So yeah, that was probably a great moment. I'll have that tied with our episode with Drew and Marty when we did the 2-hour special. I think that was great too.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
I know, because ours, Drew and Marty was like 1 hour and 30, but the one with just Marty, I think it was the NBA all time. So that was 2 hours anyway.
No, there was like 3 episodes with Marty or something like that. Or there's 2. One was a full 2 hours. The one with Drew and Marty, I think, was like an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even know what we were talking. We just kept rambling through our topics and would just like go like all over the place. And at one point we looked like, oh, we have to like we've skipped all of our like song breaks and all of this, and then we're like, oh, let's just make it 2 because the hour after us was empty.
Mm-hmm. And Sam, 2 PG trivia.
Oh, shit.
Can you name every single guest that we've had on the show?
Bro, honestly, I don't think I can. I can start with the people I think I just brought on. I brought on Sachin, and we brought on obviously Marty, Khalil, Drew. There's way more than that.
Okay.
How many are there?
All right. I'm gonna say them because I didn't write this down. I just thought of this question like right now, but I know all of them.
Okay.
Then. So I'll go Sachin, Marty, Drew, Khalil, Walter, Terrell. That's 6. My brother.
Yeah.
Eric. That's 8.
Okay.
Maya.
Yeah. Maya's show was really good as well. That was a really fun one.
And did we ever get to bring on Mitch?
No, Mitch never came on. It just never ended up being. I think he had like a class one, or like he had like some kind of thing he was doing when the show was going on.
Okay.
Just never ended
So
up.
yeah, 9 guests. Let me go double check the YouTube because we might be missing one. But let's see. 2-possession game. Still going strong. Oh, look at the views. Love it. Love it. Yep. Just 9.
Just 9.
Just 9. Sam, what a time. What a memory. We're definitely gonna miss 2PG. I'm gonna miss. I was looking at people's stories. It's like, damn, I miss VCU, like school.
Yeah.
That was, even though like so much bullshit, like with work and stuff like that. I've never worked that hard in my life. Like this last semester, spring semester, 100%. I was I was in the editing lab from literally like 11 p.m. to I think at one point I like 2:30. And I was like, I got out and I just looked around. And I was like, this better be worth it when I freaking graduate.
Yeah.
It was just so much freaking work. I had to do my broadcast class. I had to do edits for that. And yeah, I mean, but I'm still gonna miss school because I feel like it's an era that you really never get back. I was talking to my boys. I'm like Terrell, Khalil, Walter. I said, dude, we're never gonna live together again, like under the same roof. So this is like, it's time for you to cherish. I know we already talked about the new place, but it's time for you to. I think you got 2 more years or a year and a half.
We got a year and a half. Yeah.
So cherish the time with the boys, and don't forget the OG times.
Oh, absolutely.
With the 2PG and commentating. I'm waiting for you to be on ESPN, brother. So,
bro, hopefully. One day I probably will not be in front of the camera. I think I'll be behind it, but I'm still figuring that out.
Soundboard vibes, you never know.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a conversation with Sam Wolfe. And this is Yanni Sports Nation. Signing out.
Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished. When I bought the ass tomorrow, y'all thought it was rented. Flexing on these